Let me just see if I can.
I knew
I
it.
don't
I
want to
knew it.
mispronounce your name.
I knew it.
Welcome to Creatively Crazy. His name is Akash Tiwari. No, it's Akash Tiwari. All right. Welcome to Creatively Crazy. His name is Akash Tiwari. Ik hoop dat je veel plezier hebt bij deze podcast safari, which means I hope you enjoyed this podcast safari. And I gotta say, he checked those words in Dutch and they were spot on, perfect. There was not a single letter wrong. And Dutch is super tough, so props.
Thank you so much. And we have with us straight out of Netherlands, the very talented Rutger Geerling. Okay, it's
Geerling,
fine.
yeah, don't even try.
The reason I did this was I knew it. I'm gonna fuck up your name, so I wanted it to be mutual.
Actually, the reason why I used the Rutger, because officially my name is Rutger, which only Dutch can pronounce, and maybe some Middle Eastern countries. So every American always would call me Rutger. And then I figured out, hey, Rutger, R-U-D-G-R, fine, it's short, works well on Twitter, Instagram. Yeah. So that's how the name Rutger came about, actually. Because people can't pronounce my name.
So
it worked out fine.
Rutger, right?
Yeah, Rutger, actually. But that is pretty difficult. Don't even matter. Don't worry. I'm never offended. You can call me Roger, or Raj, or Rutger.
Oh, no, Rutger is better. But I'll
Rutger
keep trying.
I'm so used to it.
The festivals. Okay.
Yes.
Live events are dead for a year, almost for 6 months, 7 months. Yeah. And Tomorrowland is going online. We had the online Holland festival, and there was some festival in Germany where it was done in cars. I saw.
Yeah, that's still happening. There's one this Friday, and it's going to be another 2 or 3, I think. Yeah, which looks really cool though.
Exactly. So, what is your plan? How are you going to survive?
Right now, I'm busy. I'm going to have a museum exposition. It's going to be the first museum exposition on dance music anywhere in the world. So that is a huge thing for me. First of all, I'm going to take 5 weeks off. We're going to go on holiday with the family because this is never going to happen that I'll have 5 weeks off with the kids in the summertime. It's never going to happen. Again, my kids are still young. They're still in primary school. My girl's going to go to high school. So like in 3 years, she doesn't even want to go on holiday with her parents. So first 5 weeks holidays, we're going to France, which is a good drive, nothing crazy. Then the month of September, I'll have the final preparations for the exposition, which is going to be October till February. So October is going to be the opening and doing tours and everything. So I'll be busy. And then comes November, December, and I pretty much have no work whatsoever. And afterwards, of course. So I used to do a lot of corporate photography. So working for, photographing business meetings, stuff like that, trade shows and stuff, and product releases. So I'm going to go try to get back in that work again, just to keep busy. I have enough income. I saved up a lot of money. So financially, I'm fine. I miss the mental challenge of taking photos. And that really annoys me a lot. But there's just no way around it. There's not going to be any festivals unless we have a cure or a treatment or a vaccine. It's simple as that. I don't see it happening before that. The risk is just too great. Or eventually another year or so, and the virus will eventually, be part of humankind, and it's not going to be a problem. Like in 1916, 1918, it just literally, it stopped. It literally within maybe 1 or 2 months, it just ended. And then the Roaring '20s happened, because everybody just needed to party. So we'll see what's going to happen. It's tough for the business. A lot of the big companies, the big producing companies, they're in a tough spot. They have 40 to 60 people working for them. There's no income. Yeah, that's not going to be easy for them. So I really hope it doesn't going to continue very long, because eventually a large part of this industry will just die off, and we got to start all over again, which is kind of cool. It might be good to have a reset button and get the bad businesses out of the way and start all over again. But it's going to be tough. Yeah, for sure. A lot of people ask me, what you're going to do? Are you going to change? Are you going to... But I really want to continue what I was doing, because I'm going to turn 50. And people say, don't you have enough of it? I said, no, I have absolutely not enough of it. I love this. And what are your plans for the future? My plans are just doing the same thing. I'm really happy where I am right now. This is my dream job. Mm-hmm. And I'm lucky to be in a very good position. So I don't want to quit, because I thought about it. Maybe this is a moment to stop, but I'm not done yet. I'm not ready to throw in the towel. So I'll wait it out. I'll figure out some other odd jobs. I'm a solid photographer, so I can do a lot of different types of photography, and I'm working from there. We'll see what happens. I'm just going to write it out, and I'm just really, really hoping that come summer, more is going to be possible. It just depends on what's going to happen medically. Simple as that. I have no control over that.
Agreed. So I know a lot of people have asked you, how did you get in there? You did snowboarding, photography, and everything. But what I want to ask you, is there a requirement of specific contacts to get into this industry, or how did you get a perfect contact in this industry? Because you did it for your friend, music festival, magazines and stuff. Then you went into IAD&T, because a lot of photographers here, they say you need a contact to get inside.
It is definitely not an easy industry to get into, but it's definitely possible. I think you should really, if you want to go into this industry, you got to ask yourself the question, why do I want to do it? Am I in there for the love of photography, or do I want to be on stage and meet all the DJs and be a cool guy? If the latter is the case, I think you'll be in the wrong spot. It is cool, you'll get tired of it, and it really doesn't work like that. People like that get flushed out really quickly. But if you're there for the love of photography, and if that is your main goal, making beautiful photos in a really cool scene, it helps having a contact. You need your break in, but there's lots of ways. You, as I said, you can work for magazines, you can work for blogs, you can maybe friend DJs, there's clubs that might give you jobs. You got to understand, and it's what I tell a lot of people, because I think a lot of people just don't understand that. It's going to take time. It's going to take persistence, and you need to have good quality level before you get hired for big festivals. And people tend to misunderstand that. People think, oh, okay, I'm going to be a great photographer, and in half a year I'll be on stage with Martin Garrix. No, it's not going to work like that. It might take years. Yes, I got lucky starting out in Holland, which, especially 2 decades ago was not the birthplace, but it was a very important place for dance music. And there was definitely a need for photographers. And there weren't many, because nobody shot digital. Everybody shot slide film and everything, so it was a lot harder. I've completely lost my point here.
No, it's fine. It's not losing your point. I know where you're going.
You just got to understand, except for, being a good photographer, which takes time. It takes experience. You got to do it a lot of times. Everything you want to get good at, you have to do it a zillion times. Nothing, every great cricket player has practiced his whole life. Every great musician has practiced his whole life. And the same for photographers. It's going to take you years to reach a certain good level. And you got to be reliable. If people want to hire you, sure. If people are going to pay you money, you better be reliable. So we switched around because the light was just getting crazy. It was even blinding my eyes. It's the thing with Dutch weather. It can rain, sunshine within like 5 minutes. And now the sun comes out apparently. But it's still. So let's talk about it's going to take time, and you got to realize you got to have a certain amount of quality in your work, and that it just takes practice. It's simple as that. And if you're willing to put in the hours, you can definitely make it work. There's amazing photographers in India and anywhere around the world. Just be a little patient. That is what I'm saying. If you're going to pursue this, your timeline should be 5 years, 3 to 5 years, and you might be quicker. It might not be as quick. But it's simple as that. It's just people miss
here my next question comes in is, for every photographer, okay?
Yeah.
When you should do things for free and when you shouldn't do things for free.
That's a super tough question. The question about your fees and when you should work for free. Von Wong said, he's a great YouTuber and blogger. You should really follow him. He said, it's better to work for free than to work for cheap. And the reason why he said that, and he made a very good point, and I tell this to everybody, if you work for cheap, people will think they paid you what you're worth. So immediately you'll be saying, I'm not worth very much. If you work for free, the other person owes you something. You've done him a favor, and the balance is completely different. So now you can say, hey, but I helped you out this time. If you're going to work for cheap, which might be your only option, especially in the beginning, say what your normal day rate would be and say, I'll give you this as a discount, but you did this and this for me. If you work for free, I actually even work for free occasionally, not often, but there should always be something in it for me as well. Like it might be good for relations with that person. I might learn something. I might shoot something that I'm comfortable with, and it's a good challenge for me. Or I do a lot for charity. Like for instance, I did the Hartwell things, Hartwell gigs. I did those for free. It was a gift for me to him and his management. I said, I just kind of want to be part of it, and I don't need any money for that, because it's sometimes good to invest your time and money for a good cause. So which I did, which was really cool. And I had ended up having a lot of fun, which was worth more than the money he would ever paid me. So plus helping a charity, helping people getting educated was just, it's a good cause. So there's definitely reasons that you can work for free. Just don't do it all the time, because if you're going to do it all the time, you're really pushing out people who earn their money. You're going to push them out of the market. And especially in photography, you kind of see it happen here and there that people, they just want to be on the stage. They want to feel like a celebrity. They want to feel the vibe, and they have a regular day job, and they'll just, don't want any money for it. They just do it for the fame, fortune, or the experience. Which is, I can understand if you're going to do it on a regular basis, it sucks. It sucks for a lot of other people. Simple as that. But it happens, and I can do nothing about it. And I'll just make sure I'm better so that people are willing to pay me for it instead of somebody who's not reliable and doesn't have the experience that I do.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. I'm not asking people to not work for free or to work for free. I'm just saying what are the things you should consider when you're working for free, and what are the things you should consider when you shouldn't be doing it for free. Because
there could be reasons to do it, and as long as you get something out of it, whether in experience or in improvement of your skills, fine.
With mobile photography or with easy access to DSLR, the perception of photography has changed. Everyone is calling themselves a photographer, and I don't find such good quality grids on Instagram. But
I think the thing about everybody being a photographer is it works both ways, for me at least. Everybody's more interested in photography than they used to be 20 years ago, because they know how difficult it is. God, is blowing out. Hold on. I think, this is a little bit better.
Okay.
I thought it was so bright. I was just even hurting my eyes.
Yeah.
So I think the cool thing about photography right now is that everybody's involved in photography. Everybody knows a lot about photography. So the feedback that I get because of social media, and everybody has a camera nowadays, is a lot nicer than it used to be. Because back in the days, talking old fart, I would just give my photos and they will be used for a poster or maybe in a magazine. Not many people saw them, but now you put them out on social media and like tens of thousands of people see your photos, and they respond to it and they love it or they hate it. And it is really, really cool in that regards. And it makes my job a lot more rewarding because people understand photography. But yes, you make a good point that since everybody thinks they're a photographer, they can do whatever they want and they should be treated as a photographer. But it just doesn't work like that. I think, again, what I said before, if you're in it for the long run, you will see that it's just not going to work, especially festivals and artists. They're looking for quality. They're looking for reliability. You got to be good all the time. It's simple as that. You're not allowed to up. It's the same like wedding photography. You only have that one chance to get the shot. And if you miss it, that's going to work once or twice. But then, you better start looking for another job. Simple as that.
True. So a lot of people have asked you, how do you capture those moments and what is your process and stuff. Every photographer would say the same thing, that you would need to keep looking for those moments and stuff. But what I want to actually ask you is, suppose if I'm in Holland, let's hope I come there one day. And
you should.
Let's hope. So suppose if I'm there and I'm talking to you, you said in one of your interviews that you would be constantly looking somewhere else or over my shoulder and talking to me for new moments, everything new. Envisioning it, new crazy moments. Okay. But those things, it's natural for you. It comes natural to you and it's your habit. Okay. But how did you develop those things? How did you train yourself that now you're talking to me, but you're at the same time, you're able to envision those moments or you're looking at those moments? Because if you say to a photographer or anyone, keep looking for those moments, it's not going to happen. It's like it comes naturally. So how do you train yourself there?
Well, I think it's cool that you bring this up, because if we would be talking during a festival, I'd be annoying as hell, because I will be looking over your shoulders like nonstop, always looking for things happening. And the thing is, I started out in skateboard and snowboard photography, and that's the type of photography where you got to really visualize things happening motion-wise, so it's not like a fashion shoot that you can visualize, I want to have these clothes, person standing there. You got to visualize a movement and you're going to capture that one spot in that movement. So I've always learned from that to look ahead. It's kind of like sort of time traveling in your mind. And that's what I mean when I'm looking over your shoulder. I'm always watching people, trying to figure out where they're going. I literally see the lines of people moving. And of course, having shot this so many times and for so long, you probably know what's going to work or not going to work. On stage, it's not that hard. You know, after all these years, I know the sets, I know the moments, I know when the pyro's gone off at which song because I've photographed it so often. But I love taking photos of people and at festivals, and I just see movement. I look in, and how you can train for that? Do skateboard photography, I guess. I don't know. I'm not sure if you can learn that or if I have this ability. If I had this forever, I have
I
no
think so.
idea.
I think so. It kind of becomes your muscle memory or a thing which is directly entered into your subconscious mind. Like if
That
you do
is
something
exactly the word, the muscle
regularly.
memory. Yeah,
Yep.
that's well said. I couldn't have said it better.
But yeah,
I guess it is. I mean, it is. People. It's kind of funny. You heard about the 10,000 hour rule? Maybe it's like people say that you are a master of things when you've done something for 10,000 hours. And the funny thing is, I've calculated that just roughly. You know, I said I've shot this many weekends, this many hours. And for me, my biggest moment was Ultra Music Festival, the first time photographing it. That's my first time abroad shooting a festival. If you can ever make it there, it's wild. You know, it's spring break. Everybody's in bikinis, all the girls. There's this beautiful vibe, and people are dancing like they don't dance in Holland. There's so much energy. So I photographed it for the first time, and everything that was in my head, my snowboard photography, my travel photography, all the stuff that I learned during the festivals, it just came together that weekend. And that is my breakthrough series of photos for me. You know, that series went viral. But then for fun, I calculated the 10,000 hours, and it was just pretty much around that time that year that I think I figured out the 10,000 hours. Again, what I said before, it's going to take a little while before you get there. And yeah, you got to train your mind, and that goes for everything, I guess. The cool thing about festivals, there's so much to photograph. Take Sunburn, for instance. I mean, or you know, it's a huge area. There's people hanging out. There's swings and stuff like that. There's so much stuff that you can do there besides going on stage and shooting the artist. And maybe this is a good point as well. I should have maybe brought that up before. You know, festivals have a lot of photographers that can take care of artist photography and show photography. But what a lot of festivals need is people enjoying themselves on the festival grounds. So if you want to break into photography, that might actually be your focus. You know, just go for the stuff that other people don't photograph enough. Because there is somebody photographing Martin, there is somebody photographing Armin or Marshmallow or whoever. Somebody is getting the fireworks. Sure, if you have the chance to take those photos, but if you want to distance yourself from the pack, you know, if you want to show your worth, that's where there's a lot of worth for festivals. And as you said, the photography is, you know, the return on investment for hiring a photographer is huge for festivals. A good photo of people enjoying themselves and having fun and giving that festival feeling, that's where you're worth something. So you got to look at it from the standpoint of the festival as well. You don't be another guy who wants to hug the stage, because there's 10 other guys who can do that. And you know, eventually during the years, you'll figure it out that it will be easier to get on stage and will be easier to get some artist photos. And it's fun to do that. I mean, totally. But for me, having the millionth photo from behind a DJ is not as worthwhile of having a great festival photo. It's simple as that, of people just experience the festival. And my book as well, it was a celebration of dance music, but it has so many photos that have nothing to do with show or artists. There's a lot of photos of just people hanging out and just chilling. And because it is people having a good time, whether they're dancing or not dancing. And that's what I want to capture.
Yeah. Okay. So do you do videos as well or only photos?
No, I'm terrible. That's it. The thing is with video, I do some video. I do underwater videos for fun. You know, you get my GoPro in there. But video is such a different way of storytelling. And I think like 10 years ago, everybody thought, you know, video and photo is going to be the same thing. But it's definitely not. You can do frame grabs now from video, like 8K frame grab. It's going to look amazing. But the mindsets are so different. When I have my GoPro underwater, I just did a little video last weekend. I'm thinking such a different storyline than I would ever do, you know, photography wise. So no, I'm not good. There's other people who are way better. It is so tough. Those cameras weigh a ton, man. I'm too old for that.
The reason I'm asking you if you do videos or not, I just wanted to ask who's gonna edit this podcast. Is it gonna be you or it's gonna be me? Like,
no, it's gonna be you. I'm not touching that one.
So are we getting a thumbnail from Rudgr or not?
Yeah, I'll send you a thumbnail.
Okay. Oh, okay. I'm gonna record this and I'm gonna put it on my trailer. But yeah, so you're from a family background where people do studies, they do job, and they settle. Okay, that's what technically majority of Indians also do. So I'm gonna give you a situation. I'm gonna give you a situation where an Indian situation where you need to convince your dad about you pursuing your photography. Okay.
This
So
is so funny. Yeah.
so let's go.
I'll tell you why this is funny, because actually that happened to me.
Woo! Okay, so we can have a live story. Tell me about it.
All right. So the thing is, the same as probably in India, you got to get your education, and there's good reasons for that. I mean, without an education, if anything fails, you're screwed, baby. You're not on, in India, you're on the street, but in Holland, okay, you're not on the street, but you're not doing as well as you wanted to be. But I come from a very traditional family background. You go to university, you get your law degree, or maybe economy degree. I come from pretty much a background of either lawyers or people who studied law or being engineers. So here I am, being 18, didn't know what to do with my life. So I figured, I'll go to university because, that's what my parents want me to. So I did that, and I absolutely hated it. I finished it because, I thought I owe that to my parents. They spent money on my education and they put a lot of time and effort in getting me educated. I just really, really didn't like it. So as again, the story, I started up doing photography during my studies. And I kind of knew that was going to be my big love thing. My mother actually was very, very artistic. She was a very good painter. She could photograph really well. So I used her camera when I was a kid, just for fun. So here comes this point in my studies that I'm really hating it. I switched studies, but I had some months off. So I saved my money, bought a camera, and started photographing. I had just pure love. So I finished my studies. So here comes the big talk, as she said. So I kind of, I softened the blow for my parents a little bit by saying, I'm just going to try for 1 year, knowing full well that's not going to be 1 year. And I told them, if it's not working out, if I can't make money out of this, I'll seek a regular job for which I'm educated and for which I've studied really hard. But in the back of my mind, I just knew perfectly well I was never going to do that. And it worked out. I lived a year just below the poverty line, or around the poverty line, but I had the best time ever. And it slowly started picking up. So I figured it out, is this going to work? So I told them, it's going to be another year. And then my parents got really pissed off, to be honest. They really, really didn't like. And that actually, it took them quite some time. And the funny thing is, I was doing some travel photography as well for a local newspaper, which is still a huge newspaper. It's the second biggest city in the Netherlands. So I showed them, this is also what I do, because they didn't understand the skate snowboard thing. They're a different generation. But when they saw a newspaper with my photos in it and my stories on a travel to South Africa or whatever, it finally clicked. But it really got to the point that they would harass me, when you're going to seek a regular job. And then there was a point where, for me, it was clear I was going to pursue photography for the rest of my life. And I literally told them, if you're going to bring this up one more time, you're not going to see me for half a year. I'm just fed up with it. You better either support me now, or at least respect my decision to do where my heart is at. And they finally realized at that point that it was not a fluke, that it wasn't something just a snap decision, that I've been working on it. And that worked. From that moment, they stopped discussing it, and they got prouder and prouder ever since my experience grew. They didn't understand anything about the whole dance music or the skateboard or the snowboard photography, but they knew I was doing really well, and they knew I was traveling all over the world. Sadly, my father didn't make to see the book. My mother saw the dummy of the book. She died 5 months before the book finally came out. But I know they were very proud of what I did. But it wasn't easy at all. And it just, I literally meant it. I said, that half year, I'm not going to come back. I was fed up with it. I said, there's a point where you got to respect me. But they did respect it because they knew I was that serious. They knew that I was just fooling around. I was really putting in a huge effort to make this work. And if you want to make it work as a photographer, you better work your ass off. And it's not going to be easy. And you got to work on being super reliable, being really, really good. And it's not just a thing you do. If you're going to do it, you better do it really, really well if you want to make it, because otherwise there's a ton of other people who will go swish straight by you. But if you're that dedicated, yeah, for sure. Why shouldn't you work? Why shouldn't it work?
See, the reason I get connected with you now, because I finished my college, I finished my graduation degree. Okay. And I had no idea what I'm gonna do. Okay. I'm not a photographer. But I had no idea. And I told my parents, I don't want to get into job or masters. Just give me 6 months. I need to explore a few things, what I want to do. And if things doesn't work out in 6 months, I'll do job, or maybe a master's degree. And 6 months were done. I was still clueless. I was still doing a lot of things, comedy sketches, podcasts and stuff. So I just started with podcasts, and 6 months are over. Now it's like they have completely forgotten about it, and they are just like, yeah, he's doing something. Okay, it's fine.
But the thing is, I want to come back on. The thing is, even though I hated doing the studies that I did, I should have picked another one.
Yeah.
But I never regretted it, and I never regretted finishing it. But because it gave me a lot of baggage. I don't know what's the English word for it. It gave me something that I have carried with me for the rest of my life. It gave me skills in being able to write something, to be able to read a contract, to be able to write a contract, to be able to talk on a certain level with people. So whatever you do education-wise, it is something that you take with you, and that you can help you in business. It's simple as that. It's not thrown away. Plus, if everything fails, you can fall back on it. For me, it's too long now. I mean, I graduated 25 years ago.
Yeah. Maybe after live events, you can start something of your own.
Yeah, maybe. I just don't want to go into it. I'm happy where I am, as I said. It's just, give me 2 cameras and a festival, and I'm a happy person. That's all I need. I love it. You ask good questions. And what I love, you're very well prepared. You've read interviews. So you're in the top %, man. So you're doing really well. It's kind of funny that people ask me the same questions all over, and Google my name and Google Rutger interview, and you'll find like tons of stuff. So nowadays, when people email me questions, I'll just send them. I have a list of interviews that explain everything, and I'll send them that.
Yes,
otherwise, we're just going to repeat myself, and there's so many people asking questions all the time. So we're back on track.
Yeah, we're back on track. Hoi, hoi. What are the basics of the photography a normal person should know or should understand? Like if I'm traveling and I don't have Rudgr with me, okay, but I'm clicking my own photos. So what are the basic things a normal person should know? Or if someone else is clicking my photographs, what are the basic things I should know?
Okay. So if you just taking photos for fun, the best tip I ever got is from the chief editor of a travel magazine. I am always a little bit restless, I want to get the shot. But he said, take your time and circle something, walk around it. And that was the best advice I ever got, because you're at a spot, like a tourist hotspot, and you take the photo. You take the photo that everybody takes.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. It's good. It's fun for yourself. But just slow down a bit, walk around a little bit. And that's where you find the angles. That's where you find the fun stuff. Yeah, do take that photo that everybody takes, but then give yourself a little bit of time and search, and you can find fun stuff and you can play around with it. Just enjoy it. Just don't do it for the fame and glory. If you're just going to go there for fun, if you just take photos for fun, your photos will be fun. And if you're going to be like completely uptight and you want to get that photo that you've seen on Instagram that looked so amazing, and which was probably Photoshop like mad, and it doesn't even looks like reality, forget about that. There's people who've done that and done it a million times, and probably better photoshoppers than you, and it's probably not real, and the photos don't look real, and the photos won't even look real to other people. If you take that photo, just have fun and take a lot of photos. And I don't mean that like take a lot of photos, just go around snapping photos of everything. But if you see something cool, take your time and take 10 or 20 photos of that subject. Why not? It's digital. Just throw it all away. Back in the days, I had to shoot a festival with 3 rolls of film. So I know the other side of the story. That was tough. And do delete those photos and sort your photos by date on your computer, because if you're just going to take photos and never look at them afterwards, it doesn't really make so much sense. And if you're going to put them on Instagram or wherever, just do take some time to edit them. Even if you edit them before in the computer, even on Instagram, just don't use the filters, the standard filters, because they're boring and they're usually quite ugly. But you can do the manual things, and if you spend like a couple minutes in there, you will see that it will look nice. I even realized that like a few months ago that, don't put the photos straight into your Instagram. You got to re-edit them for Instagram, because Instagram does a lot of things with your photo anyway. So in order to look good, and we're all get this endorphin thing by bright colors and bright photos. Yeah, sure, you can do that. Just spend some time. But getting your photo taken, that's hard. I'm not really good at not much of a portrait photographer. I would just say, look at the light. If the light looks good, that makes hell of a difference. We saw that with this thing, being blinded by, about to put on some sunglasses, and now it just looks much nicer. Again, take your time. That will be, and then take enough photos that you're comfortable, that you have the right moment. It's the same for me. People, how many photos are you taking a night? I can take 5,000 to 10,000 photos a night, per day, easily. It's not that I'm just blindly shooting photos, but if I see somebody dancing really nice, I can take one photo, and I'm pretty much guaranteed it's going to be a shitty photo. Eyes might be closed, mouth, people, the hairs are really weird. So I'll just keep shooting till I think I got the moment, which could be 100, 150 photos later. So then it adds up, but it's already in my mind. I've already seen which photo is probably the best. So going through them is very quick. So I always say, give the moment time to reach your camera, just put in the effort to get it perfect.
Okay.
That would be my number one. I've been elaborating on that because you said just take a lot of photos and take your time.
No, we need detailed explanations, because that's how people are gonna learn. But yeah, one of my team member asked it, how do you decide the composition of your picture and frame?
A lot of it is experience. For my book, I had to go through all my old photos, all the old slides, and I thought it was really good back then. I sucked. I really did, compared to how I shoot nowadays. It's a matter of experience. I mean, a lot of the stuff, especially the artist stuff, you shoot out of hand. So that just experience. You use the super wide angles. So I know now how to put I can pretty much blindly point my camera and get that shot, because I've done it so many times. The biggest thing I do is actually in editing, is not editing the colors or the exposure, is straightening and cropping the photo, getting the right picture out of that frame that I have. I always like to do it. I'm a little bit old school, so I always like to get the photo perfect this first time. And for some reason, my photos are always angled like 1 or 1.5 degrees. So I cannot fix that in my head, not after 25 years. So that's the most stuff that I do. I just see the moment and try to grab it. So my camera's always ready. When I'm walking around a festival, my camera's always ready to snap, to get a photo immediately. And it might not be perfect, but at least I'll try to get the photo first, and then I think of if I can change my aperture, the whole camera shebang. But first get the shot, and then think about the exposure if it's correct. Again, I think in stories, and I love it when a photo tells a story. I love it when a photo gets you curious and just takes you to that place. And it could be a detail of feet that tells a story, It could be a guy climbing a tree that tells it. It could be a kiss of somebody on a swing. Those are stories that I like, because that's what, for me, a festival life is about. It's people just dancing first, and then they're chilling out. They're with their friends, their girlfriends or boyfriends, and they're having a good time. And I want to capture that good time. Composition is an important thing. I mean, side compositions never work well as just going straight. But I don't really think about it that much. It is. As you said, it might be the muscle memory, or it's the talent that I might have, or the experience that I have. I have no idea. I just kind of do it. I think about it unconsciously. I'm always thinking about angles, but when I see something, I kind of immediately know the angle that I want to take. And if I have more time, then I'll walk around a little bit, see if I can get different angles. Especially if that's what you got to be very quick.
You want to grab
I love the interview, by the way. I really do. I love this interview. It's a very good one. You're asking different questions. It's cool.
Thank you so much. You want to grab a glass of water? if it's
No, I'm good.
let's come to your income stream. Like, how do you manage your income? Is it just music festivals, or how are you managing it? Because you're full-time photographer. Okay.
Yeah,
So,
I'm pretty rare in this industry as a photographer. As I said before, Drew Wrestler, Roots, and I think are the only
yep.
full-time festival photographers in the world. There's a lot of photographers that do festivals, but they do weddings, corporate, and everything else. As far as I know, we're the only two ones making a full income just doing dance music photography, besides all the tour photographers. So basically, I earn my income from just people flying me all over the place. I have a day fee, and they take care of my hotel, my flights, and transport. And then I come over. It's a very easy life. I just have to pack my camera bag. I have to make sure I don't forget anything, and pack my suitcase, go to the airport or in my car, and show up. It's a very blissful life, I think. There's very few negatives to my business side of dealing, because I'm always surrounded by happy people, happy DJs, good music, fireworks. So that's how I make my income. It's very simple. People hire me, and if that happens enough, I make enough income. I am very fortunate to be in a position that I am. I think I'm pretty much one of the most requested photographers in this field in the world. I'm not the cheapest. I think if you see what you get for your money, I think I'm still a bargain, to be honest. It's still a lot of money, but compared to what, artists make, for instance, it's a steal. And compared to what you get in return for that. There's a lot of other people that live from artist touring. So they get paid by the days they tour or their own full-time employment. Depends on how that works. But in general, I would think most people have other jobs on the sides, or whether it be photography or other jobs. I know a lot of very, very good photographers in the Netherlands and Belgium who have regular day jobs, and they manage to combine it, which is not easy because it's tough, it's long hours. But you can make that work. It's all about you. If you have that passion, if you have the dedication, and if you're willing to put in the hard work, you can. I think that is so important. And then finally, you got to be really, really reliable, especially in this industry where it's a huge selling point. Just be on time, do what you agree to, write down what you want to, what is the client wants and what you will do. And if you can combine that, yeah, sure, you can make a good income out of it. You're not going to be rich, but I can't complain either. I think
you'll be satisfied.
As a photographer, I still do pretty well. Yeah, for sure.
Yes. So
I have no worries in that regard. So that's nice, especially for the upcoming year. I want to see if I can do a little bit more tour photography. I used to tour with Armin and with Hardwell and WW.
Yep.
And I hadn't done it for a couple of years. And then Timmy Trumpet asked me. There was an open slot for his Asia tour. And I've known Timmy for a long time, and we've already gone along really well. And he's always been a fan of my work. And I'm a fan of him. His music and his presence on stage is amazing. And mostly of the person, which is very important to me. I did tour with Timmy last year in, I think, October, November. And it was so much bliss. I really forgot how much fun tour photography was. So I am contacting a lot of artists right now to see if there's openings, because I think festival's not going to happen for a while.
Yeah.
But I think the club scene will eventually open, maybe end of the year, if lucky, depending on second wave and depending on what's going to happen. So there might be options there. And for the time being, I'm going to pick up more corporate photography because I do want to keep on shooting because I miss taking photos. I do help out at a live stream. It's called We Own the Night every Saturday in Holland, Saturday night, which has been a lot of fun. You can see the photos on my Instagram. It's beautiful light. It's a very small venue, beautiful light in the live stream. And it's so much fun seeing people and meeting people and just, taking photos. It's just because I missed that so much in the first 2 months of the whole situation here. Yeah. So that's been, for me, this period, that's been a bit of a lifesaver, to be honest. Just every Saturday I go out there and take photos. We have dinner together, and it's been fun, and it's been nice talking to the people in the industry and just making plans and seeing what happens and just hoping things will get better soon. My exposition is the continuation of my book.
Yeah.
My book was about 20 years of dance music photography. And this is going to be marked the 25th anniversary for me as a dance music photographer. And there's never been a museum expo, as far as we know, in the world covering dance music. And we just want to show the beauty of dance music. You know as well as I do, there is always a negative connotation with dance music industry because of drugs, blah, 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 the whole bullshit. which I don't think it's what it is about. I mean, it's about people having an amazing time. Look at Tomorrowland. There's 140 nationalities dancing together. I've seen Jews dancing with Palestinians. I've seen people from the former Yugoslavian Republic dancing next to each other with their flags. There is really not much happening at festivals. It's so overblown and used by politicians, but it's not really what it is about. It's about people having a good time, forgetting their worries, being one with music, and being one with each other. And that's what I want to show to people who are not experienced those festivals. Plus, of course, the people who do go to festivals just want to, they just want to see, oh, I've been there and I love that, and it's such a cool photo. So that is pretty much what the expo is about, and hopefully it's going to tour afterwards. After the Netherlands, there is some talk of going through Europe with the festival, with the exposition. Crossing fingers. So yeah, that's it. But on the long term, no, I just want to keep on doing this for a long time.
Yeah,
it is a physically difficult job. So maybe in 5 or 10 years, I just feel I'm very fit. I keep in shape. I watch. I don't eat much meat. I rarely drink. I work out. So physically, I hope to be able to. If I could do it for another 10 years, I would be the happiest person in life. Like really, I will be the happiest person on the planet. And so much. That's how much I enjoyed it. And this whole COVID thing has made me realize that again, that I just miss it so much.
Yeah.
But we'll get back there. We'll definitely will.
Yes.
I'll wait for the day we can get back on track.
Okay, I'm not gonna have a complete rapid fire segment, but there are a few things which I want to ask you on rapid fire.
Yeah,
so
sure.
you just need to have a spontaneous
cool.
answer.
Short answer.
Okay.
Bring it on.
Oh yes. Let's go with one more description of festivals. Okay, Mysteryland.
Mysteryland. Oh, I love that. I learned photography there. It's my birthground.
Tomorrowland.
Amazing. It's overwhelming, and it's where I learned to learn photography really, really well, because it was tough and it's so big, and we used to do it with 2 guys in the beginning, and it's just too much. But God, I love that place, man.
Ultra.
I like Ultra so much. Ultra is very simple. It's a stage with LED lights, but people just show up for their lineup, and they don't show up for the experience and they don't show up there for what Tomorrowland offers. They want to be lost in music. And it attracts a crowd that I love. There's so much energy there. So yeah, I'm in love with it. Love this, but they're so different.
DEF CON.
Oh, that's brilliant, man. That end show. If you're going to see an end show, I think it's on par with Tomorrowland, and it's hard to say it's even better. It's different, and it's just so much raw energy. Just look. It's amazing. I wish I quit working for them, but I miss it. I do miss it, to be honest.
How? Sensation.
Oh, that's so. It's kind of cool because I'm talking to the guy who used to be the director of Sensation, and I never understood why Sensation didn't go global massively, because the concept is so cool, and it just was so hard outside of Holland. I just don't know why it didn't work, because it was just brilliant, and they were so ahead of their time. I mean, you cannot imagine. We're talking 2000, and they were putting up productions that even rival today's productions. And the funny thing is, if you see the first Sensation, they had the Shiva, right, which is the god of war, and they wanted to have the god of love, but they picked the wrong one. But they didn't realize it.
So, do they know yet, or they don't?
Yeah, no, they know, and they love it. They love it, It's kind of funny because it's also cool, because it also gives you, that little edgy thing that, But they were, I think they were the first to realize how big scale events could work, And they laid the ground for Tiesto doing his Tiesto and concerts, and then nobody knows. The younger generation doesn't know about Sensation, but they still are an influence of today's shows, because they absolutely laid the groundwork. They were revolutionary. I can honestly say that. I'm being very proud to be a part of their legacy, their history for a long time. I really am proud. They were amazing.
Hard bass?
I love it. People don't understand. I had this discussion. Either you love this whole hardcore and hard style. I started out with the Gabber, which is the predecessor to hardstyle and hardcore.
Okay.
So it's always been in my blood. And when I started this job in 96, 95, I wasn't into that kind of music, but I've grown up with it and I've learned so much. So it's still in my heart. And they say hardcore is for life, and it is true. So whenever I do work for them, hard bass or decibel outdoor, it just makes me happy. It might be the battery died. Yeah, full batteries. Oh, so good.
Yes,
Another
this is gonna be the best podcast. Lighting, battery. Oh man.
I feel like such a noob. Everything's fading, but I should have done the camera immediately. I'm gonna keep that in mind.
You're gonna remember this podcast. You're gonna remember this podcast.
I definitely will.
Oh shit, man! Wish outdoor.
Oh, I love the Mexico show. I
Oh.
was so bummed out when they had to cancel. It's like family. When you start working for them, they really want to like you. And they are one of a kind. They come from a part of Holland that has a lot of warmth in personal relationships. And once you work for them, you work for them. You know, they'll loyal as to extremes, which makes it so cool. The funny thing is that the Dutch edition, where they have it, the crowd is always very subdued. It's like completely the opposite of India. And it's so tough. And they respond to certain kind of music. It's got to be very uplifting. And then you see the crowd coming up. But most of the time, it's just people having drinks and talking and just having a great time. They love it. And there's smaller areas that are going off. But the main stage is always a little bit more quiet. But they have these amazing main stages. They're a very small festival. Mm-hmm. And the productions they have, I think they start building like weeks in advance because they have that area. They can take all the time they want. I love it. And the Mexico Festival, it was one of the highlights of my year, because then afterwards, the summer really starts in full gear. It's always in May, and Mexico's crazy. I love Mexico. People throwing each other up in the air. It's just mad. And the people are so incredibly friendly. I really was bummed out it wasn't going there. That was one of the worst ones this year of, oh, that's not going to happen. That sucks. It really does.
Shit.
Next year. We'll be there.
Since I'm from India, let's talk about Sunburn.
It was my first time in India, and I was blown away. I mean, that place they have on the beach, it is pure magic. It was very dusty this year, though. It was never that. I think it was a very dry period before it. But that is one of my favorite venues in the world. That is like, for me, I think like Tomorrow World in Atlanta. And then I had a gig in Jordan. And then I think that beach is just, I just love that place. There's so much magic in the air. And then because of all the dust, you get these amazing sunsets. This crazy glow. And the people are mad.
People are mad.
That is just, India is just, that is like crazy. People party so hard. I've done, with Martin Garrix, it just gets almost scary. There's just so many people, and but the energy, you feel it, it's, I don't know. I feel like royalty when I'm walking around there. Saying hi and just coming up to me.
Yeah, a lot of people know you. A lot of people
know you. It is really, I'm just a house dad from Rotterdam, I'm a dad. I have 2 kids, and during the week I live a normal life, and then I get to be, I don't know, very appreciated over there, which is cool, which is really amazing. And it's something I never ever take for granted. Like really, I never do. I never take for granted where I am, whether it's in India, whether it's in Germany, or wherever I am. It's very special. It's very rewarding, and it's a beautiful festival. That one and VH1 Supersonic, they have that festival vibe that I really love. And I've done so many gigs in India, and I love the crowd everywhere. But I love, as I said it before 5 times. I love festivals.
Yes.
My first experience was really, really bad. We were really trying hard not to get screwed over by taxi drivers. So this is before Uber.
It happens. So it happens.
Hour in India was a nightmare. And my friend who came with me said, I don't know if I really like this country. He was like, really? You were really in shock. And then 3 days later, we went back together. We were on the same flight. And he was just blown away by the country. He said, this has been a trip that I will never, ever forget. It was just so funny. Just like that first hour was just horror. And then 3 days later, we just had the best time ever, you know. And it's funny that he said that in the beginning. I don't really think I like this country, but he just didn't want to give it up yet, you know. He said, really wanted to give it a try. So,
tell me, what words come out of your mind? Tiesto.
okay, cool.
Tiesto.
Boss, the king. He's the grandfather of house music. Amazing person, absolutely.
Armin,
one of the kindest DJs that I know. I've been very fortunate to tour with him. So dedicated, so hardworking. Probably maybe the most successful DJ over the past 2 decades, I think. From what he's done and from the level he's at and the productions he's done. Beautiful guy.
Hardwell?
I love Hardo. The most fun guy ever to travel with. Like, really. And I'm going to repeat myself, genuinely good person. And I think a lot of people understand better now why he quit touring a while ago. Now with the whole COVID, that everybody's realizing, hey, it was kind of really, really bad. I'm glad he did, and I'm lucky to talk to him occasionally, and he's doing really, really well. I'm really happy for him. I love the guy.
Yep. And Martin Garrix.
Friendliest guy. He's a genuinely good soul. Amazing productions. Incredible team. He is as kind as everybody says he is. I mean, I think it was when it's very hectic during touring, they have to keep him, you know, closed off because it's just too much people want from him. But now it's a little bit more quiet, and you have time to talk to him. You see it. He's an honestly good person.
Okay.
And amazing what he's done. Sorry, it's always more words. Sorry with me.
No problem. No, take it up. Okay. So one thing you don't have, but the other photographers have.
I think we come back to the story part. You know, when you see my photos, my whole series, it tells the story of a festival. And somebody else might have a better fireworks photo. Somebody else might have a better laser photo. Somebody else might have a better artist photo. But when you just see the whole series, that tells a story like nobody else. I think that's where I'm really, really good at.
Okay.
What's always been my selling point? I don't know.
One embarrassing moment. Let's go. One embarrassing moment.
I shot photos without a memory card because back in the old cameras. Nowadays, when you have a digital camera, it's standard that it won't take photos when there's no memory card in it. But the first generation cameras would allow you to take photos. And I was so used to taking slide film photos. I was never always, my display was always off. So I happily started taking photos, and there was not a memory card in my. And then after 20 minutes, I realized I had no memory card in there. That sucked. I can tell you that. That was a pretty bad pro move. I can tell you that. Don't tell anybody. It was a long time ago.
Okay. Anyways, people, I'll also cut those.
This is going to be your headline, right? Oh, he took photos without a memory card. That's the opening shot. Yeah,
no,
sure.
The headline is going to be battery dead. So I had put the story. If you want to, I didn't reveal your name, but I just put the story that there's this one photographer I'm gonna have a podcast with, and the best question is gonna get featured. It's by Manan Dudela from India. Okay, the question is: has there been a moment in your life which made you put down the camera and enjoy that moment without taking any photos?
Yeah, I actually do that quite a lot. I don't dive as much as I used to anymore, and often when I dive now, I haven't dove. You know, I'll dive maybe 5 times a year in Holland. I won't even bring a camera. I just want to be in that moment. I want to float. I want to control my breathing, and I just want to relax. And I might bring a GoPro because it's super laid back. But I can definitely enjoy just taking in a moment. Yeah, for sure. The more you photograph, I think the stronger that gets actually. That you don't necessarily have to capture everything, because memory can be beautiful as well.
So yeah, I think so. We have covered everything. I don't have anything much.
Such a cool interview, man. Once it's done, I definitely want to see how it ends up, and I might just push it on my channels everywhere, because it's cool for people to learn something about the person behind it in this way, and it's a cool, the way you ask the questions give me a lot of opportunity to tell that story. And my favorite question was about how do you explain your father, because it literally happened to me. That's one of the coolest questions I've gotten in a long, long time. I can tell you that. So spot on.
Okay, that means Creatively Crazy.
And it's so relatable because there's so many people who are at one point in that position to make that decision. And especially if you're going to do this, pursue this full time, and you'll be there in a position. I mean, unless you come from a completely different background. But I think there's a lot of people who come from our kinds of backgrounds, with regular jobs and regular education. Yeah. So that was, I love that question. That's for keepers.
But yes, I'm happy that you enjoyed, and I'm gonna just have this moment in my entire. I'm gonna remember this. It was amazing.
It's been a huge pleasure. It really has been. Trust me on that one.
Yep. So
cool. I hope we meet next time in India. It would be really cool.
I genuinely want to meet, and I have a long journey, but I wish I can come to Holland one day and meet you there, or maybe you come here. I genuinely want to. The only thing is I don't have money right now.
Well, that goes for half the planet right now, so don't worry about that. Nothing special about that right now. Let's stop this whole thing. Let's go back to work and party and having an amazing time. It's been too long.
Okay. Hope you enjoyed. Bye, Rutger. Thank you so much.
Bye.